Hey everyone, what's going on? This is the Other Club. Welcome back to the Battlefield 1 Good to Great series. In these videos we will be going over the 5 things that I think will take Battlefield 1 from a game that is a one-year blockbuster to a game that we will be talking about for years to come. If you missed part 1 where we talked about unifying the player base, make sure you go check it out in the description below. But in today's video we're going to be moving on to the second subject on our Good to Great list, which is maintaining the balance between customization and immersion. So ever since Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, customization in AAA FPS multiplayer shooters has taken off. In my opinion, customization has become so important in multiplayer shooters because it gives the players a greater sense of control and also accomplishment. However, it seems that many game developers have gone over the top in the customization department lately, and as a result, they have diminished the sense of accomplishment that customization used to bring, and sometimes even drastically affecting the sense of immersion and realism that many players enjoy. So in my mind, there are 3 areas of customization that will be important in making Battlefield 1 a great game in the eyes of posterity. Those are weapon customization, uniform customization, and also vehicle customization. But before we dive into each of these 3 areas, I think that it would be wise for DICE to stick to 2 guiding principles in regards to each. First, make customization meaningful, by which I mean make customization difficult to attain. Attaining new weapons, camos, attachments, vehicle skins should come with real challenges attached. Second, don't kill immersion by blindly throwing customization options into the game. It necessarily isn't about the sheer number of customization options in a game that makes the customization aspect of a game particularly great. It is more about the meaning and purpose behind each customization option that the game makes available to the players. When we look at weapon customization, right off the bat there should be a healthy level of weapon variety to customize. One of the big pushbacks against Battlefield 1 right now is that there are too many semi-automatic and automatic weapons. These dissenters accurately point out that many of these weapons seen in the alpha gameplay were either prototypes at the time or rarely even used in battle. However, I don't believe that the use of prototype or rarely used weapons kills immersion. Worst case scenario, the inclusion of semi-automatic and automatic weapons will just make the gunplay feel more like an unfamiliar looking World War II game. But if the developers at DICE limited the game to pistols, shotguns, bolt actions, and heavy machine guns, I honestly don't think the game would be that fun to play. I'm sure people will open up bolt action, shotgun, LMG only servers if there is really a true demand to play the game without semi-autos or submachine guns. Anyways, moving on, each class of weapons, submachine guns, shotguns, DMRs, light machine guns, and bolt action snipers should have a wide variety of choices to choose from. Historically, hundreds of weapons were used in battle or being developed at the time, so there really isn't an excuse to limit each class of weapons to 5 or so apiece. With a variety of different damage models, ammo capacities, reload mechanics, and aiming mechanics, 7 to 10 weapons in each category should be expected. On each of these weapons, there should be a healthy amount of attachments, but there is no need to go overboard like how they did in Battlefield 4. Again, with respect to attachments, I have no problem with prototype time period attachments. However, each attachment should have a unique purpose, and DICE should avoid using useless reskin attachments that function the same way but just look slightly different aesthetically. Remember, customization must be meaningful. Since we're on the point of meaningful weapon customization, I have mixed feelings on the whole in-game currency method to buy weapons and attachments instead of unlocking them through level requirements or in-game challenges. I like the idea of working to unlock something in a game, even if it is merely getting 100 kills with a submachine gun to unlock the next one down the chain. Playing a few games of Conquest to get the cash needed to unlock the most badass gun in the game seems cheap in my mind. If you want the cool items in the game, you should have to work for them. In regards to camo and weapon skin customization, DICE must again be mindful of maintaining immersion and also ensure that the camos are meaningful to attain. First, let's tackle the immersion question. I think that it is imperative that DICE avoids any exotic skins. There should be no room for highlighter pink zebra stripes or anything like we saw in Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, and the modern Call of Duty games. There's been some indication from the Harlem Hellfighters pre-order pack that special insignias can be etched into your guns. I think that this sort of customization would be fantastic. Maybe on some weapons there could be natural camos, like straw and hay tied onto them, like we saw with the German sniper in Saving Private Ryan. The important point here is that crazy weapon skins should not be tolerated in this Battlefield title. Seeing orange hexagon camos on guns or flying pink behemoth zeppelins would give this game a really sour taste. Next, camos should be meaningful, meaning you should have to complete some sort of challenge to unlock them. To get that gold AK in Call of Duty 4, you actually had to work hard. It wasn't just handed to you, and that is why it actually meant something. It showed everyone that you were the badass in the lobby, and everyone else was just an amateur. Battlefield 1 seems to be limited on the amount of weapon skins they can provide without completely killing immersion, but it will be interesting to see what they come up with nonetheless. And one last point, when it comes to melee weapons, historical period pieces are all that should be tolerated. There should be no room for samurai swords or anything like that. The second area of customization that DICE should focus on is uniform customization. When I first watched the alpha gameplay, I was amazed on how awesome the uniforms looked. Uniforms back then had a ton of character to them, and this presents a lot of customization opportunities for the developers. Historically, there are so many different uniforms and helmets and all sorts of stuff like that to choose from. It would be an extra customization element if DICE attached challenges to unlocking these items so we can differentiate ourselves on the battlefield. But it's important that we don't kill immersion completely. We don't want people running around in bright orange uniforms with EA logos all over them just because someone pre-ordered the damn game or something stupid like that. Just imagine for a moment if each class had, say, 3 or 4 costume items that were unique to them. For example, the British, German, Russian, and United States sniper class all have their own line of hats, capes, and uniforms to unlock. This could be a great little customization option that could serve as the icing on top of the cake for Battlefield 1. This extra degree of customization can be a huge success, especially if DICE makes these items challenging for the players to attain. In making them difficult to attain, they will become purposeful. If they are purposeful, they will be valuable to the players. Uniform customization should also attempt to maintain immersion by simply ensuring that the uniforms of each faction reflect the natural environments of the map. For example, on a desert map, the faction should be sporting desert uniforms. Battlefield 1 should be a polished game upon release, and should avoid basic costume mistakes that hurt immersion like the ones that were made in Star Wars Battlefront by putting Episode 6 Luke Skywalker on a Hoth map. Finally, and this is kind of an off-topic point, but it would be really cool if DICE was able to develop a game mechanic where your primary weapon, secondary weapon, and equipment were visible on your character's body. When you draw your pistol, you draw it out of a holster that you can actually see. When you switch to your secondary, you sling your primary on your back and it actually appears and remains on your character's back until he re-equips it. They did a great job with adding animations for getting in and out of vehicles. Why not add some animations for equipping weapons and equipment? Real quick to cover the topic of vehicle customization, my opinions here are almost identical to those I mentioned in the weapon customization section. There should be a wide variety of vehicles to customize in the first place, even if such vehicles were experimental or rarely used in the war. Vehicles should have a wide range of attachments/items you could swap in and out to fit your playstyle. And finally, all vehicles should have realistic skins and camos available for players to unlock. But again, as in every area of customization that we covered, to unlock new attachments and skins, the player should have to overcome some sort of challenge. By doing this, the customization options have a purpose and meaning, instead of being superfluous and hard to keep track of. That's all we have for today, everyone. Stay tuned for the next video in the Battlefield 1 Good to Great series on meaningful class and weapon balance. On your way out, make sure you subscribe, punch that like button, and join the discussion in the comments below. This is The Other Club, signing out.